Good morning, good morning. I cannot tell you how much of a pleasure it is to be here with all of you this morning. There is literally nothing that I enjoy talking about more than what I'm going to talk to you about this morning. So I appreciate the honor to be here, and I hope that there is something, a little nugget for each of you to take with you today. As your speaker, I do take it very seriously to make sure I keep my audience's attention. So I did give great thought this morning to wearing my Wonder Woman costume, except it doesn't fit like it used to. So I left it at home. I'm going to save you a little uncomfortable moment and me too. So I am going to talk to you this morning a little bit about heroes, except the heroes that I'm going to tell you about this morning never wore a cape. In fact, the hero that I'll tell you about first, her name was Ruby. She was about 70 years old, and she was the lady who lived next door to me when I was growing up. I never really had a conversation with this lady. I'd always see her out in the yard in her pink blouse and her polyester pants playing in her flowers. Never really had a reason to talk with her until one really interesting afternoon in 1985. You see, in 1985, I was about 13 years old. Anybody here parents of teenagers? All right, and we all know that when they reach about 13, they decide they know everything, right? Yeah, that's me. And so I decided that school was a little bit of a loose suggestion more than a requirement. And so this particular day in 1985 was my day to have a party. I was going to have boys and beers, beanbags, and Atari. Anybody recognize the name Atari? Anybody with me? So this was the day that we were going to have a good time, invite as many friends over as I could, drink some beer, and have a good time. And we were doing that until I heard a knock on the door. It wasn't authoritative enough to be a cop, so I didn't worry about it too much, but it wouldn't go away. So I decided I better go check it out. So I walk to the front of my house, and I look outside, and it's the old lady next door. So I can continue to ignore it or open the door. What do you think a 13-year-old said? Ignore it. She'll go away. To my surprise, the front door of my house came flying open, and in comes Ruby the Renegade, all 4'11" of her. Dynamite comes in small packages, folks, I'm here to tell you. This was a woman on a mission. She reminded me a little bit about a Rambo without the camouflage or the muscles. And she decided to start throwing my friends out the door, pouring my beer down the sink, and grabbed me by the arm and said, "Young lady, you're coming with me." That was the day that my delinquency took a detour. You see, I had a neighbor who cared enough to step in, someone who thought like I do now, that it takes a village. I was a latchkey kid, and like most kids today, they have 2,000 hours of discretionary out-of-school time to make lots of decisions. And often when we're young, we're not making very good decisions when we don't have adults and supervision around us to give us guidance. 2,000 hours is equivalent to a full-time job. What I did with my 2,000 hours, I started drinking when I was in 7th grade. I started stealing from the local Montgomery wards. I'm all about dating myself this morning, apparently. I started getting in fights at school. When I'd show up, I missed about 96 days out of 180 of my 8th grade year. And then I joined a gang. Yes, I joined a gang. Because then at least it felt like I had a little family around. My mom was a single mom, and I think really at the end of the day she was doing the very best she could, working 70, 80 hours a week sometimes, because that's just what it takes to raise a teenage daughter as a single mom. Unfortunately, the price I was paying was way higher than the bills she was working so hard to pay. United Way is an organization that provides programs for kids like me for that out-of-school time to give them guidance, help them build self-esteem, make better decisions, do better in school, and even show up for school. That's just one of the ways that we help children succeed. And in 2010, little did I know it at the time, but I too would become a hero without a cape when I joined the Big Brothers Big Sisters program as a big. I'll never forget the conversation I had with the match specialist as I sat across the desk from this lady. She says, "Well, what kind of child do you want?" What kind of child do I want? Do I get to pick them off of a shelf and make them perfect? No. I said, "Give me the one with the greatest need." I was matched with Lily. At the time, Lily was 13, and she had been in the program waiting for a match for 5 years. On that November evening in 2010, as I sat around the table with her and her family, Lily got what she was so anxiously waiting for, and I got a life-changing experience. At first, we did just simple things. We went for pizza or Dairy Queen or whatever. Sometimes we would just sit at my house in complete silence, because silence for her was golden in comparison to the dysfunction and fighting and discord that was going on at home. When she was 2 years ago, if you remember 2012, I decided I was going to buy Maroon 5 tickets for her birthday. So the concert was in March of 2012. Do you all remember what we were doing in March of 2012? Do you remember the 24-inch blizzard and the snow we were digging out of? Yeah, not me and Lily, however, were downtown Minneapolis trying to find a hotel, braving the roads and the treacherous blizzard conditions to go to a Maroon 5 concert. And ladies in the room, I think I have your buy-in on this. Adam Levine, totally worth it. So here we are, we're downtown Minneapolis, we're having a good time, and what's the only sensible thing for a grown woman and a young teenage girl to do but to run up and down the hallways, chase each other up and down the elevators, and run through the skyways as if we're two little kids, giggling and screaming. At least she had an excuse. And I have often asked myself, who's getting more good out of this, her or me? Like I said, it wasn't always that exciting. Sometimes we'd sit in complete silence. And I have to tell you, when I became a mentor, I said, this has got to be the most life-changing experience ever. I'm going to get to impart great wisdom and help this young girl develop. And here we are sitting in silence. There's got to be more to this. Am I doing something wrong? Am I even making a difference? I got my answer when Lily was 16. You have to understand that her community and her school was in mourning. We had lost 4 kids to suicide under the age of 15 in less than 8 months. These were Lily's friends, these were Lily's classmates, and these were our community's children. Out of the blue, I get a phone call as I drive up to Subway to get lunch one day, and it's Lily. Hey Lily, what's going on? Nothing. So, are you at school? Yeah. I told you she didn't talk much all the time. So, are you wanting to hang out? Is everything okay? And with a breath and a sigh, I knew she had something very important she wanted to say. So I gave her a couple of minutes, and she proceeded to say, Teresa, I just wanted you to know that I know exactly what those kids have been going through. I have thought about suicide a lot. And I just want you to know that I could never let you down like that. So anyway, I just wanted you to know you've made a huge difference in my life, and I love you. So I gotta go. Bye. So simple, so succinct. That was Lily. 1 hour a month became the realization that I had changed or been a contributing factor to changing this young girl's life. 1 hour a month. 1 hour a month, $1, one desire to be a part of something bigger than yourselves is all that it takes. But I know that I'm in the company of leaders in this room who know that we're all heroes without capes. And we know we don't have to change the entire world. We only have to change one little bit at a time. And through United Way, we have that opportunity to impact our 9-county neighborhoods and the people that live next door to us. We may not know their names and we may not know their faces personally, but there is great need in all 3 areas that we've been talking about this morning: stabilizing families, promoting healthy living, and helping our children succeed. And in the areas of helping healthy living, promoting healthy living, there are organizations that we support. By the way, there are 300 programs and 188 agencies that United Way covers and leverages your dollars to make an impact. And one of those organizations is the Wilder Foundation in St. Paul. For any of us who are caring for our loved ones, for our moms, our dads, our grandmas, our grandpas, the Wilder Foundation provides adult daycare for our loved ones. And there are 2 very critical things going on there. Number 1, our loved ones have a dignified, integrated place to go that are suffering from memory loss or dementia. They do arts and crafts and music. It's a beautiful place to be. The second, and probably less recognized, is the much needed respite care that we as caregivers need in order to be a better caregiver for our loved ones. Helping Children Succeed, Boys and Girls Club of America, we've got obviously Grow Up, Big Sisters, Big Brothers, and of course stabilizing families. These are the things that your dollars are helping to support. There is so much need, and whatever we do today, I can tell you, ripples out into our future and helps our children become the future leaders that we are here today. Lily's going to be 18 in January, and she's already told me that when she goes to college, which at 13 she didn't think she could do. But when she goes to college, the first thing she's going to do is find a Big Brothers and Big Sisters program so she can be a big just like me. I don't feel like I've done a lot, but I obviously have. Everything that you guys are doing, whether you see their faces or not, are making a significant impact in the lives of our future leaders. So from my heart, I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the money that you donate, the resources that you give, and the time that you give. Because you are a hero without a cape, and I'm honored to be in your presence today and share that title. Thank you so much for having me here this morning, and I wish you all a fantastic day.
Thank you, Teresa.